My God, I can hardly hold this phone up. My hands are shaking, my arms are shaking. I have finally gotten this thing sanded to 120. Now 120 is what I usually take it off that belt grinder with, the first one, not the second one. But I didn't. And once, see, I grind these bevels on a jig. And once I take it off the jig, there's no way to get it back exactly like I had it on the jig. And when I would go and use 120, the belt wouldn't be completely square and flush with the bevel, and I might end up messing up a very hard-earned bevel. So there we go, finally. I'm telling you, I've never sanded this hard in all my knife making history. But I've always said that the first grit off the belt is the hardest and the most important. So I have not cut any corners. There's no little leftover scratch marks. Even the spine looks good. All right, so we got a good start. Now, we're going to 180. And today is Saturday. I should be making sheaths, but to be honest, I've got so many things that are not going right now. I'm not even going to get into it. You just wouldn't believe the mess everywhere. That I just can't get my mind. I can do simple stuff like this, but I can't do, the leather work takes a lot more brain power, and I can't get my mind off the litany of BS that's going on all around us. You know, with us, to us, for us, against us. Jeez. Thank God for sanding, because I'd go nuts if I didn't have something to do right now. I was going to solar cook a meatloaf today, but I don't even want to do that. I'm going to do that tomorrow. The meat will be good one more day in the fridge. It's still actually a little bit frozen, so tomorrow it'll be just right. So tomorrow, which will be Sunday, I'm going to cook a solar meatloaf. I love that stuff. And maybe tomorrow I'll have a way to get my mind off the BS and get some it's only 2 leather sheaths. It's not the end of the world. And one of them is a dinner skinner sheath, and I can knock them out pretty quick. But like I said, I just cannot stop thinking about all the nonsense that's going on around us and to us and in our life. And some of it's financial and some of it's mechanical, and just a whole bunch of dominoes all fell at once, and nothing, life-changing or life-altering. It's just a whole bunch, an avalanche of bullshit that we all have to deal with, right away. We'll get to it. Okay, talk later. Okay, I am up to 220 on that knife, and I came home. I'm done. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I can't sand anymore. My hands and my arms are killing me. Excuse me. But I am well on my way to having a shiny knife. So I'm going to sand some more tomorrow, Sunday. I'm also going to cook meatloaf tomorrow, but I'm going to use my All-American solar oven because this is my Haynes 2.0 and my all-season solar cooker. And I've been cooking in both of them a lot lately, and it's been a little while since I've used my All-American, which is right there. So I'm going to use that tomorrow and sand. So I will have that knife up to, I'm going to say 400 tomorrow. And that's not, I'm not setting too big a goal. I actually have one side at 220 and really looking great, no hidden scratches. And the other side, I flipped it over and I just couldn't do any more sanding. So I did 120, which took me about 6 hours altogether. And then I did 180, about 3 hours. And then I got one side sanded up to 220 and I flipped it over and I have one side to do to 220. And then I'll be at 320 and 400 tomorrow, plus the side of 220 that I didn't get today. Alrighty, you are up to date. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, here's weird for you. When I take a shower and then put my towel in the dirty clothes, he goes and pulls my towel out and then rolls in it. And he only does it to my towel. I do not know why. When I get up out of bed in the morning, he goes over to my side of the bed where I've gotten up and he rolls where I've slept. Where's the dog? I'm working on it, baby. I'm working on it. What time is it? Are you hungry, girl? Are you hungry? Oh, tell me. You gotta tell me. Okay, we'll get you some supper. Okie dokie, it is Sunday morning. A little bit cloudy, but by 10 o'clock, we're supposed to have nothing but sunshine. And we're gonna cook meatloaf in the solar oven. Ebony and ivory. I'm sorry, I should never sing. So I'm gonna have one more cup of coffee and go to my knife shop and sand and sand and sand a little more. And then when that's done, I'm going to do some sanding. Actually, I'm gonna come back home about 10 and get the solar oven out, and my wife is gonna put the meatloaf together. And when I get it in the solar oven, I'm gonna be back and forth from the shop to the oven most of the midday, aiming the solar oven. And let's get the day started. Today's gonna be a good day. Good morning. Here you go. You're a pretty kitty. You are. You're a pretty kitty. Someday you're gonna let me pet you. I just know it. But we're both getting older. So you better make that decision pretty quick. Well, that's a good sign. It is. You just rubbed your little nose on my hand. I think you're probably smelling me for food, but okay, we're gonna leave you alone. Progress. Okay, that's enough talk. I just looked out the window and my wife was on the porch waving at me. So I called her and she wants me to come and look at the Hamburg meat, smell it, just to be sure that it isn't bad. She got sick one time from eating meat that shouldn't have been served. And I got sick one time, deathly ill one time from eating something at a truck stop that didn't smell right, but I ate it anyway because I was starving, and your options are limited at truck stops. And we didn't stop very often when we were long haul truckers. We were a team driver, so the truck moved pretty much constantly, and rarely did we ever get to time to stop and actually sit down to eat. And that was one of the few times. And I got very, very sick. So neither one of us want to ever take a chance on meat that doesn't quite smell right. So I'm fixing to go home and smell the meat, and then we're going to make meatloaf, and then I'm going to get it in the solar oven since we now have sun. And then I'm going to come back and finish sanding this, and I probably won't talk anymore because I'll tell you, I'm really leery about talking about anything but making knives and working on lawnmowers, and because YouTube is so nuts about what they allow and what they don't allow, and I have come to rely on my little bit of AdSense money. So let me go get the meatloaf started. I almost have it sanded. I've got the other side up to 600. I'm going to get this side up to 600. And probably going to call it a day. I may go 800 and 1,000. Those two grits don't take too long. But I'm not going to buff it today. I'm cooking in the solar oven. And I don't want to be all... When I buff, I'm just covered in head to toe with that stuff. So I don't want to get near the food with all that on me. So I'm going to get this sanded up to the grit that I need to buff it at, which is 1,000. And I will probably buff it tomorrow. And you might ask, and I'm going to tell you, why do I get this? Why do I buff it before I heat treat it? And the reason is because I buff it and I look real close. And if I haven't gotten all the scratches out, I may need to go back several grits, 220, 320, and start all over, which is not hard. But if I harden it and heat treat it before I buff it, and then I buff it after heat treatment and I see a scratch that I didn't get out, there's not a chance I can get it out because it's already been hardened. So it is a lot of work. It's double the work, to buff it, then heat treat it, and then clean it all back up again and buff it again. But it's the difference between if I find a scratch, being able to sand it out, or after buffing and I find a scratch, selling it as a mostly mirror polished knife instead of a completely mirror polished knife. All right, just got a little bit more sanding to do. You can see I got some diagonal lines I got to sand out. Almost there. All right, we are sanded up to 1,000. I'm going to use stainless pins because they polish up like a mirror. So there we go. That's what I'm going to use. As a matter of fact, it looks better when you do it this way. And 3 stainless pins. Okay, I got a lot to do. I'm about halfway. Oh, not even halfway. I got a ton of work to do yet, but I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to go check my... we were going to do meatloaf, but yeah, the hamburger meat didn't smell quite right. This is stuff that we found in the freezer, and it had a little freezer burn on it. And so anyway, we did some sausage and some red beans with onions and peppers and all kinds of stuff in there, and spices, and it's going to be good. And tonight when they're cooked, we're going to put them over rice. But this is Sunday, and I kind of think that's all I'm going to do today. I am honestly just wiped out. I am exhausted. We've had a heck of a week and got another heck of a week coming up with medical stuff. So maybe a few days between videos because there's not much I can do. Tomorrow I may get out here and get to work on those 2 sheaths. Really, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to make 2 leather sheaths. So Tuesday, I can mail everything out. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. tomorrow, that's what I'm going to do. Make some sheaths. And then Tuesday, all day at the doctor's. And then Thursday, all day at the doctor's. So who knows when we'll see you next.